Hello, my noble band of outlaws. Outlaw Samurai coming at you live with a video. Well, while I'm stuck inside, I have nail, super glue, dowel rod, and duct tape. Now, what could I possibly have with these 4 items? I will give you a moment to think about that while I stroke my majestic beard. Write your comments in the thing. Time's up. So, what I have these for is, in truth, I am going to make arrows. Now, these pieces of wood are not straight by any sense of the imagination too much. So, these aren't going to be like perfect arrows by any means. But arrows nonetheless they shall. Now, in the past, I've actually driven nails into these and sharpened the other end. This time, what I'm going to do is place the nail on the end of the arrow, super glue said nail into place, and then see if that makes a better arrow. I have some examples of my old arrows around here somewhere. Now I'm actually going to there's some curves in these, so I'm going to try putting the curves up and seeing how that goes. First, we need to make fletchings. Fletchings are very important. For those of you who are not well informed on archery, fletchings are what you call the feathers that are on an arrow. They are what stabilizes the arrow whilst in flight. There we go. So we have our very sturdy work desk. And our arrow shaft. Now, traditionally, these arrows would be made out of wood. Not air. The fletchings traditionally would be made out of feathers, but with modern archery equipment, more times than not, they are made out of a composite material. Simply put, the composite material is actually stronger than old-fashioned feathers. Now, we actually should keep in mind that when making traditional wooden arrows are actually longer than their modern counterpart. And this is actually done for two main reasons. The first is, unlike with modern arrows, the nock is not carved into the. Fuck it. We'll just roll with it. Unedited. As I was saying, there's two main reasons why they are done this way. Because with modern arrows, the nock is not carved in to the arrow shaft itself. It is a separate piece. Because of the fact that we have to carve in the arrow nock, is precisely the reason why what the hell am I trying to think here? Because of the fact that you have to carve in the nock, you actually have to put your fletchings up higher. Now, not to say that this was a standard, there is actual historical proof that some high-end, like, arrows that were mainly used for target practice and arrows that were traditionally saved for the use of nobility had bone or antler nocks, but these were rare and far between. They were not a norm as it was. Sorry, I'm trying to do this while talking. Now, as I was trying to say, there is actual historical evidence of, especially from the 14th, 15th century, some target arrows that were usually reserved for the use with nobility and the like, had bone or separate nocks. But as I say, those were generally considered a nobleman's privilege, basically, reserved for nobility and the like. They were not a norm in the sense that everyone had readily availability to these things. Simply because, and most of it simply has to do with the fact that most of your bowyers, as they are called, the people who make the bows and fletchers, sometimes a fletcher would also be a bowyer, and a bowyer would also be a fletcher. It wasn't always mutually exclusive. But regardless of the case, a fletcher when they are fletching an arrow, actually have to take into consideration the fact that it's easier to carve a nock into the end of these and simply just reinforce it with some rawhide than it is to attach a completely separate piece. And that is true even of today's standards. Take swords, for example. It's a lot easier to just simply put a metal reinforcement ring over a koiguchi than it is to carve out an actual buffalo horn, an actual piece of buffalo horn. And that's why some manufacturers use just simple metal collars in the place of the traditional koiguchi. Plus, argumentatively, metal is also more protective. Now, in truth, I would actually say that a nock that has been directly carved into an arrow is vastly superior to one that has been glued on, simply because of its structural integrity. This knife is not exactly slicey. Now, as we see here, we have our fletchings. But I was going to ask, but seems I messed up somewhere, and now I have to maybe not, because that could be the lead fletch, and then okay, yeah. Now we just simply just carve away the excess material, and we shape our fletchings accordingly. This is better. This is much sharper. Now, it's a very good idea to also attempt to trim your fletchings so they are of uniform size. And there we go. Now, there is also one other very important tidbit. Now, note that I am using duct tape. You traditionally use regular fletchings, but these are more like in a pinch survival slash like if you, I guess if you would prefer zombie apocalypse style arrows. And here you are. Now it's also a good thing to add a helix to these. Now what a helix is actually a bend to encourage spinning. Next. And with that,
I hope he goes and puts on his gun. And we got a right to protect ourselves, ain't we? He'll be wearing a gun all right this time. His spine on his back is right up against the wall. Hey, I seen the marshals can't go over their office. That's good. That's good. With the preacher coming at us, and the marshal taking his side, that puts us in a right. Yeah. You get ready to handle the marshal.
there you are. Now when that dries,
Jameson, I'm sorry about the Greens. I'll run them out of town. No, they speak for me, Jones. Their words can't with me. Lies never can. But your words, your silence, that's destroying me. Mark, Aaron, you better wait outside. Come on, boys. Jameson, there's one thing standing between you and me. You're a fraud. You're a coward hiding behind that cloth. You proved it in Tucson the day that old man came after you with a gun. When you
there you are. One complete, well, except for the knock, improvised arrow. Testing to come once it gets warm and I don't freeze to death every time I step outside of my damn room. At the moment, I have to wait for that glue to dry. And once that glue dries, it'll be rock solid.
every person that I met, feeling their hurt and their joy. If I said an unkind word, I felt the hurt of it. As though the word was spoken to me. Now I can feel the torture that's going through your mind. Oh, God, please, let God do that. Jason.
And this became a lot longer than I thought it would be. Sorry for the ramble session, my noble outlaws just kind of turned out that way. So until next time, my noble band of outlaws, Outlaw Samurai tells all y'all, be crazy rednecks, be safe in using your weapons, and I'm out. Peace.